Common Council meeting and have to ask the clerk if appropriate meeting notification has been provided.
It has, Your Honor.
I'd like to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You would take roll call, please?
Alderman Ellis.
Here.
Alderman Spiegelberg. Alderman Welch.
Here.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Here.
Alderman Kabayevsky.
Here.
Alderman Youngworth.
Here.
Alderman Frankowski.
Here.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Here.
We're going to start tonight with the public hearing. A couple things before we start, though. There's a lot of folks here tonight. There's a lot of cards. There's a lot of comments and suggestions from citizens. We have a couple public hearings. People put in requests for discussion about the walking path and Village Crossing. If it's about the walking path in Village Crossings, I'm going to ask you to make those comments during comments and suggestions from citizens, not the public hearing. The public hearing is directly related to the planned project, the Village Crossings. It doesn't really impact the path that goes through Village Crossings. So I'm going to ask you guys to split up those comments to the extent you can. So if they say walking path, I'm moving you to comments and suggestions from citizen. If it says Village Crossing and Paps Farms, we'll have you come up during the public hearing. Any comments on that, Mark? You're good with that? Okay. Jason, are you presenting on the first public hearing? And I'll read this one. This is on Center Point Marine Comp Plan Rezoning and CUP. The purpose is to hear public comment for an amendment to the City of Oconomowoc Comprehensive Plan 2050 and rezoning of 3.83 acres at 520 West 2nd Street, 5 acres at 125 South Park Street, and 1.29 acres at 519 West 2nd Street. The rezoning is for Center Point Marine to allow for boat storage, boat sales, and boat service. Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. Briefly, I'll give an overview of this request. There was several applications submitted. Contains 3 different parcels. So there's 3 applications to amend our city's comprehensive land use plan, 3 applications on the agenda tonight for the rezoning, and then 3 applications for conditional use permits. So the properties involved are on 126 South Park Street, highlighted in red here, 520 West 2nd Street. It's an existing building site, and then 519 West 2nd Street, which is just over 1 acre in size, and it's a vacant parking lot. What they would like to do is do a combination of boat sales right in this main existing building, boat service in this existing building down here, and boat storage down here. So the properties are currently zoned industrial, and they would need the commercial zoning to do this. So we are amending the land use plan from industrial to commercial. We're asking to rezone it to commercial and then grant conditional use permits for the sales, the service, and the storage, which are all identified as conditional uses in the general commercial zoning district. These are the existing buildings. Many of you are probably very familiar with them. They will clean these up and redo them. On the top of the screen is the existing buildings, and these are some renderings of proposals of what they would like them to transform them into. The storage area on the 519 site, this is currently unfenced. They did some renderings showing a fencing. They would have boats in there, and they would add some landscaping as well. This is what it currently looks like here, with the purple area being gravel. So the Plan Commissions did recommend all 9 of these applications, the 3 conditional use permits for boat sales, boat service, outdoor storage, etc. The conditions were included, were pretty standard for our conditional use permits. We have 9 applications. We have ordinances to amend the comprehensive plan, ordinances for the rezonings, and then conditional use permits, all in your packet this evening. Thank you.
Okay, as part of this public hearing, I have several cards. I'm going to call up Joe, I think it's Mady. Marty, Joe, 520 West Wisconsin. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Joe Mead, you were close. A lot of people guessed Modi
I
or
was
Mady.
close.
So,
Yeah, I tried.
anyway, Joe Mead here with CenterPoint, the applicant. Just wanted to say that I'm here. If anybody tonight has any questions or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer anything that you guys have.
Yeah, when we get to that point of the meeting too, we may call you up and ask you some additional questions.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. And Jason kind of covered everything that we're hoping to do here, and I apologize for going a little overboard with my Google editing here. So,
Thank you. Karen Miller, come on up.
Hi.
Hi.
So I live a block over from there.
You want to introduce yourself?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm Karen Miller, and I live right down the block from there. And right now, it just looks terrible. I mean, I won't even go into stating the obvious. Obviously, there's going to be change. But my concern is, are you going to be held accountable for keeping like that fenced in and landscaping for the gravel pit? I mean, it all sounds good now, but right now, the weeds are sticking out. It's an embarrassment to live in that area. I mean, I'm ashamed to say where I live, and that's not good. So how do we hold you to that? How do we know that this new beautiful marine is going to come in, boat place, and it's not going to just, a year from now, we're
Yeah,
going to say, hey.
You want to speak into the microphone though? Because we're recording, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Just so
Okay.
everyone can hear you.
Okay, so for anyone who didn't hear that, I'm very concerned about the exterior appearance once they're in there and, then, you know, it's a year or two down the road because it looks terrible right now. And this, I thought, was a part of their plan, the building that's in between, but is that true that that building that looks the absolute worst is not a part of the plan at all? And maybe that's another meeting, but is there any plan for the building that's in between the storage and theirs right now? Because that's an eyesore, and that's going to make their business look terrible.
It's not part of this project.
Okay, well, if that ever comes up, I would like to be alerted, because I would like to address that also. So really, I'm worried about that it's just going to look terrible a year from now. But I'm hoping it won't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Kohlenberg?
Oh, yeah.
Gary, you know what you need to do, right?
I'm familiar. So
An extra minute, right?
I do have a question. A friend of mine asked me to read into the record. Did you want me to read into the record or the clerk?
You can read it in. Sure, if you're comfortable with that, Gary.
Sure, and then I also have a comment I'd like to make. So, just a moment. Thank you, members of the Common Council. My name is Gary Kohlenberg. I live at 345 River Bluff Circle, Oconomowoc. And this is a letter addressed to the City Council from Kevin Kurtz. It is a letter of support for Center Point Marine rezoning and conditional use permit application. Dear Mayor and members of the Common Council, I am writing in strong support of Center Point Marine's application for rezoning and conditional use approvals for boat storage, boat sales, boat services, and related marine operations near West 2nd Street and South Park Street. I am the managing member of LaBelle and on LaBelle LLC and have operated across the street from the location for more than 14 years. Based on my experience in this area, I believe this is an appropriate and beneficial use for the property. There is a clear need in Lake Country for additional marina services, boat storage, boat service, and boat sales. This area has a long-standing connection to the lake-related business, and the proposal fits well with the needs of residents, boat owners, and the surrounding community. Center Point Marine has an excellent reputation. I believe their operation will be professional, well-managed, and positive addition to the location. The proposed use will support local customers, strengthen the lake-oriented business community, and improve the availability of needed marine services in the area. For these reasons, I respectfully encourage the city to approve the requested rezoning and conditional use permits. And that was from Kevin Kurtz, and now I'd like to read my comments. May I?
Go ahead, Gary.
Thank you. This is in support of Center Point Marine's application. Dear Mayor and members of the Common Council, I am writing in support of Center Point Marine's proposed marina-related use. I own property directly across the street from the proposed location. As a nearby property owner, I care about what happens on this site and how it affects the surrounding area. In my opinion, this is the type of use that makes sense for this location. Lake Country needs more marine-related services. Boat owners need convenient access to storage, service, and sales. A professionally operated marine business at this location would serve a real market need and would be consistent with the lake-oriented character of the community. Center Point Marine has an excellent reputation. A strong operator matters. The right operator can improve the appearance, activity, and usefulness of a property while also serving residents and visitors on the Lake Country's boating economy. From this standpoint of a nearby property owner, I view this proposal as a positive use of the property and a benefit to the surrounding area. I respectfully encourage the city to approve the requested rezoning and conditional use approvals. And I know this is not a time for interaction, but I would like to state that I am very familiar with Center Point and the other operations they have and their commercial properties, and they are well-maintained, pristine, excellent operators. Thank you, members of the Common Council.
Thank you, Gary. Next on this topic is Melissa Schuster. Just go ahead and introduce yourself and give us your address.
Melissa Schuster, 314 South Park Street. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight.
Thank you.
We would like to my family and I would like to formally express our concerns regarding the proposed Center Point facility coming into our neighborhood. While we understand that development and growth can bring benefits to the community, we believe it's important that the residents receive clear information regarding safety, traffic, the infrastructure before the project moves forward. Our primary concerns are safety precautions. In the light of the recent incident involving Center Point facility, we would appreciate detailed explanation of the safety measures, policies, and procedures that will be implemented at this location to ensure the safety of both the facility, occupants, and the neighbor residents. What safety protocols, safety staffing requirements, emergency response plans, and ongoing monitoring systems will be in place to address potential safety concerns. Traffic impact. What is the projected increase in the daily traffic associated with this facility? Has a traffic impact study been completed? And if so, will the results be made available to the residents? What measures are being considered to minimize traffic congestion and maintain safe travel conditions within the surrounding neighborhood? This next point is our greatest concern, relates to the section between South Park Street, between West 2nd Street and South Concord. There are currently no sidewalks along that stretch of road. This is heavily utilized by neighborhood residents, including children and families who walk, run, ride bikes, and engage in other outside activities during the warmer months. Due to the convenient access to both eastbound and westbound of I-94 via Willow Glen Road, we are concerned that the traffic associated with the facility may significantly increase along this route. Increased vehicle traffic on the roadway that lacks pedestrian infrastructure creates substantial safety concerns for the residents who regularly use this area. Additionally, vehicles are frequently parked on both sides of South Park Street, which are already narrow and available driving spaces. We're concerned about how larger vehicles, including trucks, service vehicles, and boats are going to be transported through that area. Will safely navigate the roadway without creating additional hazards for pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. We need clarification because, especially on a Tuesday night, I host a house full of young adults, dinner every Tuesday night. And having cars on both, and I have 12 to 15, 20 kids, young adults at my house every Tuesday, like clockwork. They're there now. Dinner's being served for them. There's cars on both sides. You're gonna have boats coming up and down that road, and then you have families and no sidewalks. What are we gonna do? Are you gonna put barriers on both ends? It's not gonna work for the residents. You can't have a boat company come through down that road trucking these big boats and you've got cars both sides and families. It's not fair. I really hope, and that last part is all personal, right? All of it's important to me. These kids are important to me. These families that are in our neighborhood are important to me. Their safety is my biggest concern, especially the kids that come to my house. Please take that into consideration. I don't want anybody to get hurt, whether they're my kids, somebody else's kids, any of that. I don't want it. And I got kids who zip down the road on their scooters and bikes and stuff. Having a big boat come down my road isn't it. It's just not. Please take that in consideration when doing this, all right? I don't know how you're gonna fix it. Just fix it.
Thank you. Any other comments on this Centerpoint Marine comp plan rezoning and CUP? We'll move on to our next public hearing, item 4B, Village Square Holdings comp plan rezoning and PD amendment. The purpose is to hear public comment for an amendment of the city's comprehensive land use plan 2050 and rezoning of 21.3 acres located at the southeast corner of Valley Road, County Highway B and Pabst Farms Circle. Jason, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor, Alderman. We have received an application for comprehensive plan amendment, for rezoning, and the existing plan development overlay amendment. The site, as mentioned earlier, is located, highlighted here with the blue outline. It's south of Valley Road, north of Pabst Farms Boulevard. It's directly west of Village Crossing. The reason I mention that is this whole thing with Village Crossing was approved in 2006 with a PD overlay. This area has been sitting vacant since 2006. It is currently zoned commercial and shown on the land use plan as commercial, and they're asking to change the zoning to a residential use. 3 of the lots would remain commercial, the one north of the bank on the corner of Valley Road and Pabst Farms Circle. This is the existing hotel, and 2 lots directly south or east of the hotel would remain commercial. Approximately 10.4 acres is being asked to be zoned to residential, and the land use plan changed to residential to match that. These would be single-family homes with 0 side lot lines, so it's actually, it would look like a duplex, but it's single-family home with individual tax key numbers, individual home ownership, living in the units. Be 40 units for a total of 40 buildings, 80 homes. Then we have 10.8 acres being rezoned to our multifamily district, and that includes independent living for senior cares, a commons building, a memory care, and some cottages in the north area. This is all senior housing. They have an operator that's willing to come in and develop that as well. So this was the inspirational photos. I mentioned the single-family homes with a shared wall. This is what they would look like down here. There's others of this type of housing in the city. And then this would be the memory care senior campus development. These were inspirational photos of other developments that they have in the area. So the area that we're concentrating on tonight would be the Lot 1, the 10.8 acres. It's the senior care facility. And then the Lot 2 is the 10.45 acres for the residential being rezoned. The other lots are being kept as commercial. Land Commission did approve the resolutions to amend the comprehensive plan. They recommended the ordinance to rezone it, and they recommended the PD overlay. There was a lot of discussion by the Plan Commission of, is this a good land use? That's what this is all about. They have stated that in the packet, there's a letter from Mid-America. They do all the real estate brokerage deals for commercial uses. They said this would be a very challenging site for commercial under the current zoning. We've also rezoned a bunch of other lands in Paps Farms to commercial. They said there's an abundance of commercial land, that this is a better land use next to the existing residential. We also have a letter in your packet from the Hilton Hotel ownership, and the owner did say he fully supports this request moving forward. I'll be happy to answer any questions later in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. So just to foreclose a little bit more before we begin, comments on the public hearing with regard to Village Square. The walking path around, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about the walking path around the whole site. The walking path that's being put in this current development is being handled by the developer as part of that agreement. The walking path on the other side, the Village Crossings, is not really part of this discussion tonight. There has been discussions with your old developer to put in your current path, but that's not been decided, that's not been finalized yet. Those discussions can occur at a later point. So if you want to talk, if folks are here to talk about that walking path, we're happy to hear you. But it really has nothing to do with this. So I'm reading the cards right now for anybody that just said Village Square, okay? And I recognize a lot of the faces, so if you still want to jump up, you're happy to jump up and talk about Village Square, but if you put walking path, I'm putting you in the later spot. So without further ado, John Barnes. Just go ahead and give us your name and address, and one other comment I'll make. We still got a lot of cards. We got a really long meeting, so I'm really gonna try to hold people to about 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut you off completely, but you know, let's keep things moving.
Yeah, sounds good. John Barnes, 1370 Paps Farm Circle is my business address. I own Barnes Diamonds and Designs, and we are currently in the Paps Farms development. It has been a long-standing vision of myself and my family, celebrating our 40th year in business and our 21st year in Oconomowoc this year, to own a freestanding building. We've had tremendous growth over the 21 years, and this is finally, looks like it's gonna happen with, so as of right now, Lot 5 is under contract with Mr. Bell for my business, and I look forward to obviously building a beautiful business, a jewelry store, freestanding on that site, hopefully in about a year or two. So you'll probably see me back here for that, but I am in support of the whole development. You know, we came here 21 years ago, and we, a little bit long suffering. There was a big plan, and as we all know that have lived here for a while, it kind of, things happened, and the economy took a turn, and a lot of that sat dormant. So as a business owner that did everything I can do to keep business moving in a positive direction, I'm very excited to see growth, and we bought into this plan as a mixed-use development. So obviously, I'm part of the retail portion of that, and it's great to see other, you know, residential and other businesses and restaurants coming. So I'm in full support of this, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Next is Doug Kaiser, sorry. Sure, come on up to that's fine, come on up to and just introduce yourself again and give us your address.
My name's Doug Kaiser, and I'm here with my wife Sharon. We live at 1796 Linden's Court in Oconomowoc. We've lived there for almost 9 years. We welcome the rezoning of the property south and west of Village Crossings at Paps Farms. We feel this is a good fit for the area, and this type of proposed development will be compatible with the area. When we first investigated building our condo in Village Crossings in late 2016, we stopped by the Paps Farms Development Office, then located in the strip mall near Metro Market. At that time, we were informed that the property being discussed tonight was zoned light commercial. Since that time, Sharon and I have hoped that residential development would replace the light commercial designation. When we purchased and built our condo in 2017, like some of our neighbors in Village Crossings, we paid an additional $20,000 to have a view of the pond. Prior to the construction of our home, we were presented with the layout of our condo footprint and that of our neighbors' buildings. In those drawings, there was no mention of a walking path near our condo. The drawings we were presented with, and which we had to sign off on, only showed the existing gravel path in Village Crossings and not being extended. This is because the building locations agreed to by Kingsway and the city of Oconomowoc did not permit that. In addition, we were told by Kingsway representatives that who was the developer of Village Crossings, that we would not have a walking path behind our condo because there's no room to build one. At that time, the city of Oconomowoc approved locations for our condos being built by Kingsway without the extending walking path throughout the association. After 9 years of believing no path could or would be built in Village Crossings, we're now seeing a proposal to place a path just feet from our condo. In addition, the proposed walking path calls for a bridge or culvert or whatever you might want to refer to it that would cross the stormwater drainage ditch directly behind our home. This proposed bridge or culvert and path would have people walking within feet of our condo, looking directly at our patio, into our sunroom, our living room, and bedroom. If this walking path proposal is eventually approved, as I've seen just recently, we believe our privacy and that of our neighbors will be significantly infringed upon. Had the walking path and Village Crossings been properly planned and developed prior to the construction of our condos, it could have been a very welcome addition. However, trying to retrofit a walking path is like trying to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Not to mention the high cost to construct it and who will be responsible for paying for the construction. We believe the development and rezoning proposed tonight is a good fit for Pabst Farms area and the city of Oconomowoc. However, we do not understand why it's necessary now, after all these years, to construct a path in Village Crossings at Pabst Farms. There are and will be plenty of options for walking throughout Pabst Farms. Trying to construct a walking path on Village Crossing property, in our mind, is simply a bad idea. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Doug. Campion? Jacques? Just walking path? All right, I'm going to move you to the other pile. Nancy Rice? Walking path, you're to the other pile. Okay, you guys are all in the other pile. And anyone else that wants to talk about just specifically the rezoning of this spot? Yes, sir. Just give us your name and address for the record.
I'm Bob Carlson, 1774 Derby Lane, and I live in Village Crossing condominiums. My comments got a lot shorter with the introduction, but the Village Crossing Pabst Farms Association Board of Directors, of which I'm a member, is in favor of the application to rezone the 21.3 acres for residential development as proposed by Village Square Holdings. And I guess the rest of mine are village path or walking path related. I do have hard copies. Would you accept those now, or should I hold them?
Sure. Why don't you give them to the clerk and she'll pass them around. Gotcha. Or Lou. Thank you, Bob. Okay, seeing no other comments, we're going to close this public hearing. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, come on up. Just give us a second, because we want to make sure we get your name down and address. Thank you, Gina. Yep. Under the mayor? I'm just kidding. I know, that's fine. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself and just give us your address.
Sure. I'm LaVon Beecher. I live in Pabst Farms Village Crossings in the condo. My address is 1528 Champion Court. Sorry for my voice. Many of the comments about the walking path due to the rezoning have been mentioned before. I don't think you'll find a lot of us that are against the rezoning, but as one of the gentlemen said, and I can relate, I paid $20,000 more to be on that pond as well as everybody else. I think there's several dozen of us on the pond. And also were told that there's not going to be a walking path there. We were told of the possibility of rezoning of the commercial zoning, and all of us bought the property with that awareness. The biggest question I guess I have is, we have walking paths on 3 sides of Pabst Farms. So why is it necessary for us to have another walking path that cuts right through the Pabst Village Crossings? It makes no sense. They're literally on 3 sides of us. Most of us who live there, including myself, walk on those paths around us. There's miles and miles, hundreds of miles actually, if you want to be specific. So that's my one comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamont. Okay, I think we're done. We're going to close this public hearing. And then we have one final public hearing. This is item 4C, Fire Facilities Impact Fee with Western Lakes Fire District. The purpose is to hear public comment on the proposed addition of an ordinance to create an impact fee for fire facilities in the city of Oconomowoc. Chief Brad Bowen is going to present some information on this item. Chief, take us away.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Chief Brad Bowen with the Western Lakes Fire District, here before you tonight to talk about the recent public facilities needs assessment and impact fee study that was completed, not only for the city of Oconomowoc, but the participating municipalities that the Western Lakes Fire District serves. I know we've got new members of the council, so Mark gave me permission to talk for the next hour. I'm kidding. So the hearing
Off at 3
objectives
minutes there. Chief.
are to review the 2025 study that was completed by McMahon Associates regarding this analysis, the legal compliance for impact fees, the facility needs recommendation from the study, and then most importantly, the public hearing, the stakeholder dialogue tonight. So in 2025, it was included in the district's operating budget to hire a consulting team in compliance with state statute. Before impact fees can be considered, a third-party neutral study needs to be completed by a consulting firm. We put that to RFP and hired McMahon Engineer Associates to complete the needs assessment and the study. What are impact fees and what can they be used for? Impact fees can be used to offset the capital costs of public facilities attributed to new development. Impact fees can be used for the legal cost, engineering design, the land acquisition, as well as the construction costs of public facilities. They are collected from the developer or the property owner at the time of a building permit being taken out. The study evaluated not only the district's call volume, but they looked at the Waukesha County Comprehensive Land Use Plans for all of your municipalities, your master plans, your zonings, development projects that are in talks or have a high probability to occur in the next 3 to 5 years. The district's capital improvement plans, our call volume trends, the municipal population trends, standards of cover, and our community risk assessment. Public facilities impacts fees need to be used within 8 years of collection. So if you were to collect $1 today, that needs to be spent within 8 years of implementing. The table here at the bottom are the only eligible items that are able to be used, so the funding from impact fees. So buying a new fire engine or a ladder truck is not permissible for impact fees. It is only the brick and mortar costs. We took a proactive approach to this instead of waiting 8 years and then coming and saying that things are changing, or 10 years. So this was a proactive approach to look at our municipalities now and into the future. That was the number one thing I heard as I've been in public meetings is, what is the new development doing to pay their fair share? So this was one of our strategies to look at it. So the study found that there's a 13% population growth throughout the district anticipated over the 10-year period. 18.6 million square feet of additional non-residential square footage, as well as maintaining our current service levels and staffing levels. So how do we retain and maintain those staffing and service levels that we have today as there's growth that occurs? So the study found equitable cost sharing. 85% of a future fire station was determined to be because of new growth. So the study found that we currently are at a 15% space needs deficit of our current space and our current stations. So that would be considered an existing deficiency that is borne by us as the current taxpayers and then the new taxpayers moving forward. However, with a new station, 85% of that is attributed to new growth, meaning impact fees can be used to pay for that 85% share. So they came up with an impact fee schedule, and this was outlined. This would be universal between the 7 partner municipalities. So for single-family or duplex properties, they would pay $1793.29 for that permit, or if it's a multifamily, they would pay $896.65. So anything 3 or more units would pay that per unit. And then the non-residential occupancies would pay 12 cents, 0.08 per square footage. I also want to note that the ordinance is outlined that those fees adjust annually based on the CPI. So what they're set at this year would change annually for the municipalities based on the CPI. So the financial projection, what they came up with was a 15,000 square foot satellite fire station, so not a main building, a satellite station. It would house up to 5 people 24 hours a day. That would take out some of the burden of the current facilities as the development occurs. The estimated cost for the facility is $6 million, and that's based on today's current market rates for new development. And then the planning, the land acquisition, legal contingency cost of $600,000. So $6.6 million is the total project cost that they projected in today's world. $5.6 million of it would come from new development impact fees if implemented. Our call volume projections, looking at 10 years from now, anticipating the district will be going on 10,000 plus calls per year. Compared to this year, we're on track for about 7,300 calls. Big part of the study was it had to look at the impact of impact fees on housing affordability. So the current median household income in our area is $590,000 for a new home to be constructed. And then they looked at the property taxes and the other costs that go into that as you're going for a loan to ensure that the housing affordability because of these fees does not go out of compliance. The impact fees create a 0.25% change in the total house cost. So it was considered to be a de minimis change in the housing affordability by implementing the impact fees. Statutory compliance, again, we went through the third-party study. We had it presented to you back in November, took your feedback. The consultant finalized the study in March. We worked with legal counsel to draft the ordinance that is before you tonight, as well as the memorandum of understanding between you and your partner municipalities in the district of how the cost share would go for the 85%. We posted this and made the materials available for 20 days at least, and we're hosting the public hearing here tonight. All funds collected through impact fees must be maintained in a segregated account, because if those funds are not spent in those 8 years, the funding needs to go back to the person that paid those, as well as the interest that is earned on those funds also has to be accounted for. So that's why there's the segregated fund. Again, a shared vision, so that's the MOU between the other 6 municipalities as well as the district and yourselves. The fiscal framework as well as the operational considerations for service levels. I was asked what kind of fire station are we talking about, so I threw up some examples. Menominee Falls just recently built 2 satellite stations of roughly the same square footage. So 3 or 4 apparatus bays, as well as the living quarters is what would be projected here. Again, a layout floor plan of what that looks like, giving a little bit more detail. We do have 2 locations on the north because this is intended to balance the north central component. We do have 2 plots of land that are currently owned by municipalities, one of which is allocated only for a fire station. So that also goes into this consideration. We did the study in '25, stakeholder review in May of this year, public hearings, you are my 4th one. I've got 3 more to go here in June, and then as soon as the municipalities adopt the ordinance, if you so wish, implementation could occur once you adopt the ordinance. Questions from me?
I just
Or
have
Mr.
one
Mayor, back to you.
question, Chief, is who's approved this so far from our member?
Village of Dousman, Town of Ottawa, and Village of Summit have approved these already. They approved theirs last week. You are this week, next week is Town of Merton, and then the following week is Lac La Belle and Town of Oconomowoc.
Thank you. Any other, any comments? I have no cards for this public hearing. Seeing no interest, we'll close this public hearing. Next, on to item 5A. Approval of meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2026. I'll entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're on to the next item, which is item 6. This is comments and suggestions from citizens. I've got a lot of cards. So before we start, I just want to give everyone one more chance. I'm absolutely happy to go through all the cards, have everyone say something. The walking path on your side is not up for a vote tonight. Just so we're abundantly clear. The only thing we're voting on is the rezoning, the comp plan change, the PD change that includes the path on their side. They cannot go into Village Crossing side and pave or do anything without approval from us. So, but I will start reading cards, and if folks want to come up and make some quick comments, that's fine. But we are not really addressing, it may come up during discussion, but it's really not part of what we're deciding tonight with regard to Village Crossing specifically. So first is Nancy Rice. Nancy? Okay, you're welcome to come up. If you still want to come up and say something, you're fine. Okay. Campion, you still want to come up? No, you should come up and say something then if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. I think that to answer that briefly, there may not be another hearing on your side of the paths at all.
Sure.
It all may be settled privately with your developer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure these points are heard.
Yep, thank you, Campion.
My name is Campion Jakes. I'm a resident of Village Crossing at Paps Farms. My address is 1777 Derby Lane. Mayor Rozick, City Council members. If it is determined that the Village Crossing Paps Farms property must include a path, I support completing the path as originally intended. As someone who walks and bikes on a daily basis, I appreciate the value this amenity would bring to our community. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to everyone involved in ensuring that this feature, which was presented to my wife and me when we purchased our home in the community 6 years ago, will actually become reality. I do have 2 requests. Please consider any necessary modifications to the original path design to maintain a respectful distance between the public path and the residents adjacent to it. The second, please conduct a thorough review to determine whether the path must be constructed in compliance with ADA standards. If ADA compliance is required, I request that all applicable specifications be incorporated into the construction requirements from the outset. So in other words, if the path is built in Village Crossings, I would like to make sure that we understand that if the ADA compliance is an issue, that the new path is actually constructed to be able to comply with that. As stated in our HOA declarations, the association is responsible for maintaining the sidewalk and path. This responsibility should not be interpreted as requiring the association to later reconstruct a crushed stone path to bring it into ADA compliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Campion. Tammy Dietrich? Welcome, Tammy. Just your name and your address.
Tammy Dietrich, 1538 Champion Court. I'm here about the path. I purchased my plot of land 8 years ago, and at that time, as others, I was told that the path was not going to go through, that nothing was going to be done with it. The condo association voted last fall to let the existing path that is there to become natural. So the condo association in our area abandoned the path completely. Now with this new proposal, they're talking about putting a path through, and with all the changes and setbacks and locations of the condos, there'd be a huge infringement on the privacy of the people there. I did pay a premium for my lot, and I enjoy the pond and the privacy that goes along with that. I can't fathom the idea of strangers walking through my backyard, scoping out what I have on my deck that they can come back later and pick. You're opening the homeowners to theft, and that is also a large concern. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Denny Jensen? Come on up. Well, if you still want to make a comment, you can, but it's not part of, yeah, then come on up. Yeah, then come on up.
I'm Nancy Rice at 1540 Champion Court. We've been in the community for about 8 years. In addition to Tammy, she's my condo mate. Privacy is a huge issue. When the developer pushed our units back in order to fit them in, part of our units are on what would be proposed as a path. For me, it would be about 3.5 feet from my basement bedroom window, which I feel is really an imposition on us, our privacy, our safety. In addition to that, when I look out my window, you know, Economawalk's building, and it's great for the tax base and everything. That is an open, green area. You know, there's a couple of kids that come in and fish. You know, it's a small pond. It's really not a pond, it's a retention basin. My other concern is drainage. You add a 5-foot hard path to that area, which none of us, I believe, get any water in our basements right now. Last year when we had that 100-year rain, which usually comes about once every 3 or 4, the culverts, the whole waste area there, the green area, took care of that water. It all flooded, but nothing got near our units. And so the other thing to take into consideration is drainage. So some people have said other things. I just want to say that the costs, the drainage, and the proximity to our units, even if you go out further, you're really going to change the construct of that land. And it's going to lose its natural beauty for the development that is going in addition, because it's peaceful, it's quiet, and it's beautiful to look at. And so that's probably to conclude my statements.
Thank you, Nancy. Denny, did you still want to come up? Oh, he did. Oh, okay, that's okay. Well, I'm going to just pull him off then. Larry Swakovic?
Matt, I thought you would get that more correct.
It's always, I think I have it spelled wrong in my phone too, I'll be honest with you, Larry.
It's Swalkevich.
Swalkevich.
So Larry
Yes,
Swalkevich
okay.
at 1512 Paddock Court. I am the president of our association, so I'm speaking for them on their behalf. Just as before I even start, a little side topic is, a little confusion here, because when we last year talked to this planning committee and stuff about removing the path, we were told to wait until the development happening on the west side of the pond. Well, that's happening. So we're just trying to get our voice in such that things are done the right way. So I am here to speak for my association, Village Crossing at Papps Farm Condo Association. We had a town hall meeting this past Friday with a bunch of residents, over 50, and our 2 aldermen were present. In general, most people are in favor of the rezoning of the commercial to residential, that part of it and everything. But the one part I really want to continue to talk about is, of course, the walking path. Here are some points or comments. There was a good portion of the people that were still do not want any part of the walking path. Part of that's uncertainty, what's going to happen, what is it going to be, and all that stuff. they're just, without having the knowledge of what's happening, they don't want to accept it because, you know, some people, mostly the ones that do not have a walking path currently behind them, are wary that if a walking path was completed, it would be built right in their backyard. If you go over to East Lake, you see housing with full backyards, and I'm guessing an 8 to 10-foot easement. This puts the walking path easily 40 feet from their buildings, which is more understandable and a little bit more privacy for them. Here at Village of Paps Farm Condo Association, the walking path is on our land. So now you're talking 15 to 25 feet. Without said map, there's a huge uncertainty as to what really is going to happen. Now, Brian Bell has been instrumental in working / helping us with providing us with proposed changes and a map of how the walking path could be completed. Several of the board members went out the next day and returned to Brian Bell a counter proposal that does not invade our residents' privacy and reduces the numbers of trees removed from 7 down to 2. Most of these trees are 25-plus feet, and they're all healthy trees. They're not diseased trees or anything else like that. We also walked the path with our 2 aldermen, and they now have a full understanding of our situation. We are getting closer, but this is still a work in progress. Another final bullet is equally important, which we have said to you before, is who will pay for this. Our take is that this was an agreement between the city and the developer, and it should stay that way. I commented at the last planning committee that we were required to, per the agreement, to maintain the walking path. If it is completed, and when, we will meet that agreement still. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Any other comments related to that issue? Yeah. Bob, I know you still wanted to come back up. You had another card before.
Most of it has been said already, but again, Bob Carlson, 1774 Derby Lane. I really want to emphasize the importance of the ADA standards. We don't claim to fully understand them. It's a very difficult book. We've spent hours and hours and hours trying to dig through it, and it does address walking paths, but whether it needs to be gravel, whether it needs to be paved, that remains uncertain to us. We do know that if it's to be gravel, that it will have to be a whole lot higher standard of construction than what we see in the quarter-mile stretch that's already been paved. And then I'd like to add that in the last couple days, we received preliminary drawings from Brian. He had R.A. Smith work on that. They did a fantastic job of showing where the proposed path could go based on elevations and slopes and things that they studied through their surveyor. Now, we still are working on that. It's a working process. We really ask to stay engaged and participate in the design review. We've had a couple good days of discussion with Brian today included, and I think there's hope, but again, it's in progress, and I don't know that even if the board feels that we've reached an acceptable walking path, we still have, well, there's 5 of us on the board, so there's 78 other, or 79 other owners who will have to weigh in on this. As you've already heard, there are many who are opposed to it. Probably no matter what kind of walking path gets built, there are a whole lot of others I know who would love to see a walking path. So we don't have the answer to that equation yet. We'll have to do a survey or something to find out. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. There's one more. Go ahead. Yeah, come on up. Just give us your name and your address.
Tracy Eastburn, 1794 Linden's Court. I have a question. So you had mentioned that today's approval, zoning approval, doesn't, if you vote for it, that over in Paps Farms area, that it won't make a difference for Linden's, for the Village Crossing path, correct? And I think our concern is that if you accept this proposal from Brian Bell, that then automatically we would have to put that path in, or at least that was my understanding.
No,
And,
no,
and
I'm happy to
that's-
answer that. That's not the case.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wanted to make
The
sure. that-
approval tonight will not impact what happens with your path, right, as it stands right now. It ends at their zoning requests and changes end at their property lines. We were trying to incorporate everything together with your path, but that's not where we're at right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
You got it. I appreciate everyone's engagement out in Village Crossings. Peter Bell, or Brian, Peter Bell. Wow. Brian, I think the folks there really appreciate all your effort. The plans and stuff you provided and your engagement has been exemplary. And Zach and Eric, I know you guys have been out there a lot the last couple days, so I appreciate that. We have a new topic. Rebecca Steiner on Monbijou, if you're still here. Rebecca? Okay, come on up. Just give us your name again and address.
I'm Rebecca Steiner. I live at 201 Pine Terrace. I am on the HOA board for Pine Terrace. We had our annual meeting tonight, so I get to present. So in an effort to gather input regarding the operation of the inn with the liquor license that was temporarily granted, I just surveyed the 44 neighbors and said, tell me your experience, what's it been like? And overwhelmingly, everything was okay. They were very, I need my glasses, sorry. The positive comments included appreciation for restoration of the historic property, landscaping improvements, investment in the building, and the residents considered the owners to be good neighbors. Some other residents expressed concerns regarding operational impacts commonly associated with an event revenue in a hospitality business. Occasional outdoor music that could be heard inside neighboring homes, increased traffic, including delivery and service vehicles utilizing private roads, sometimes guests and visitors walking on private roads or entering private community areas, and also additional long-term parking occurring in nearby residential neighborhoods because of the lack of parking. There were some comments about litter or debris following events, but they were taken care of quickly. So part of the biggest issue for us is trespassing. We want the inn to be successful. It's now an active event space. We don't have a problem with that so much. For the owners that live closer to the inn, it does affect them. Some of them have lived there a long time, so the extra trucks and noise, it's gonna affect them, but we get it. It's an event center, it's an active business in a residential community. It's the trespassing. Pine Terrace pays for its own snow removal. That's 30 grand a year. That does not impact the city. We pay for that private road. That is not funded by the city at all. We maintain the landscaping and the park and the lakefront, and that's all on the dollar of the people that live there. So the trespassing is when it kind of sticks in our craw that we need to do something better there. And we would love to build a better bridge with the owners. We've reached out to them. We haven't had that communication yet, but we would love to work on better solutions. Sometimes wedding parties come down from the inn and they look at us with like a deer in the headlights. What, we're trespassing? And, and you hate to have to confront people like that. Or sometimes people cut through the inn to come up to the lounge. And again, when you're in your yard, having the peaceful and private use of your home, to have to confront people is a burden. And for everything that we pay for, it'd be really great if we could just mitigate that and reduce it. And we are hoping that the additional parking and sidewalk that's going to happen on Lisbon Road would give people ample space to make their way up to the inn if that's where they're going. So that's really our issue. I just was digging around tonight and I looked on Facebook and there's a picture of a beautiful couple that got married, but it's on our side of the property where they took their picture. And sometimes you know, it's a small thing, but when those things continue to happen, you just don't want them to build up. And so we're just asking that we could reduce that. We know it's not going to be 100% gone, but what other actions can we take with the owners and build a bridge so we can have good cooperation with the inn and with the people that live at Pine Terrace?
Thank you, Rebecca,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Any other comments or suggestions from citizens? Without objection, what I'd like to do is move new business item 10A, which is the presentation and update from Monbijou to this point, unless there's an objection. We'll ask our folks from Monbijou. I think we're asking them to come up? Yeah. Joe and Catherine, if you guys would like to come up. And again, for the Common Council, this is just a presentation from them. Part of the CUP was that they would come back in a year and just give us an update on their facility.
Well, nice to see everybody again. It doesn't seem like a year since we've been here, but I just wanted to give the council kind of an update on things that we've done at Monbijou, especially relative to some of the neighbors' concerns in the last year. About 11 months ago, we spent about $10,000, planted a couple of dozen large arborvitaes to put additional screening around our back patio. We've added 3 additional parking spaces in our parking lot this spring. We've added additional signage to try and keep guests out of the condo's private property and make them aware that that's private property. We do employ a parking attendant at events, and I know Rebecca mentioned the events tend to be where there's issues, and those are things that happen before the cocktail lounge, you know, a wedding or an event. And we've taken down the scope and the size of those to try and keep those a smaller scale that's more for our size and less impactful on the neighbors. But we use the parking attendant at all events, usually me, to try and keep guests out of the condo's private property. As part of the reconstruction of Lisbon Road, which Rebecca referred to, there will be some additional street parking from Pine Street to just west of Monbijou's property line. Currently, the area around Monbijou is not very pedestrian friendly. So as kind of a goodwill gesture to our neighbors, in particular the neighbors at Pine Terrace, we've offered to pay for a sidewalk from Greenland Road, on the south side of Lisbon, from Greenland Road by the Lutheran Church to past Monbijou, thus saving Pine Terrace condominiums their share of doing that. You know, we are doing our best to be a good neighbor, and we believe we are realizing our desire to be a gathering spot for our neighbors. Catherine?
Good evening, everybody. Pretty much what Joe said is what I would have said. I just wanted to add that a year ago, after we had a meeting, and there were a lot of people that were opposed to the lounge, that very next day, I was surprised the amount of phone calls, voicemails that I had gotten, bearing the hatchet, so to speak, and wondering if they were going to be welcome into the lounge. And I said, of course, I was going to have to charge you more, but no, not really. But yeah, and we have had a lot of our neighbors who live in the Inn at Pine Terrace. We've had a lot of them in the lounge. We've even done a couple of special events for them and their families, and we have hosted many of their families also for the weekends when they're in visiting or whatever. As far as brides and grooms, I apologize for whatever it is that they're doing, but I want everybody to know when we have guests check in, I am there almost 7 days a week. When we have guests check in, I personally check them in, and I let everybody know that is private property behind us. They are not allowed to go there. I can't be there 24/7. We can just do what we can do, and like Joe mentioned, there's signs there everywhere. We now put up signs during events. I just want to say something. 2 weeks ago, we had a guitar player out there, and there were 2 cars out there, so my kids said, "You can't park there, you can't park there. Whose car is this?" And it was 2 people who lived in 2 different couples who lived at the Pine Terrace who were headed to City Beach and decided that they would come to Monbijou because they liked the music better. So they're like, we can park there. So I just want you to know that if anybody said anything, it was people who lived there. Okay, but I guess that's all I want to say. Does anyone
No,
have
well,
any
yeah,
questions or
thank you.
anything?
No, thank you. We'll just open it up for any questions from the council.
Okay.
Typically, the process is just a report.
Okay.
And then we'll ask if there's any questions. If anyone has any questions, just raise your hand and, yeah, Lou.
There was a comment made about getting together to communicate more of that. You guys are both here in the room at the same time. I would greatly appreciate the effort of taking advantage of this opportunity to make sure that you guys get together, go through the specific items, and it sounds like you're doing the best you can to address it, but maybe with some additional information and maybe joint effort, some of those issues can go away and we don't have to worry about having them part of another update.
Monbijou would welcome communication.
Any other questions? No? Oh, April, go ahead.
My husband and I, we love your business, and we say all the time, we're so thankful that we have someone in the community who has just done what you guys have done to a historical place, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other, Karen?
And I've been engaged on both sides of the issue, so I'm hearing from everyone involved there, as you guys know, and been in communication with you and Rebecca and the HOA. And again, too, like Lou said, just keep that communication going. It sounds like Rebecca is doing a great job and is very willing to do that, to bridge that, as well as you guys, because there's nothing but good that can come from continuing to do that.
100%.
So, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Lou.
In regards to parking, I did hear from a couple friends on the north side of Lisbon that patrons are parking on that side and it's kind of taking up some of the room. I don't know if you get a sense of where people are parking, or if you can get a sense of that, and if you know that they're parking in a residential area, if there's any incentive that you can give or any communication that you can provide. I think it'd be helpful to the residents, and I think there would be a sense of gratitude for that, even if it was just the effort. I know you're not going to get 100% compliance, it's just not going to happen. But if it was reduced and that effort was shown, I think that'd be a thumbs up for you guys.
Sure.
Yeah,
Is
go ahead.
parking part of the CUP? Like making, that patrons need to park?
I believe that they have, in the CUP, there were parking spots called out that they would be using inside of their development, and that's all they're allowed to use. They're not allowed to use parking along that street. So anybody else, if they don't run out of parking, they've got to bus them in, or people drive them in and drop them off.
Right. So I guess, I think the incentive is it's part of the CUP. So I guess if there's violations that going on, we should know, and let's have the communication and make sure people are parking in the right spot.
As far as my understanding from any complaints to the city, the only thing we've ever received was one noise complaint, which was resolved very quickly, and it had nothing to do really, I think, with what you guys were up to. It was some general noise complaint in the area, maybe it was some music or something, and it was addressed very quickly, and that was quite a while ago, and we have heard nothing else.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and there's parking being added on along kind of Lisbon there, so. Okay, I'd like to thank you guys. I think we appreciate you guys coming for the update, and, good luck connecting on the way out the door.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is our consent agenda, items 7A through F. Unless someone wants to pull something out of there, I can take a motion for all of those items together.
Moved. Second.
We'll do roll call on this one.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kabieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Next on to committee reports, item 8A1, consider act on resolution 26R3378, granting renewal of 2026-2027 alcohol beverage license. Gina, usually,
Sure.
the clerk usually mentions this, but unless there's something
I can-
major.
Yes, absolutely. So these were reviewed this evening at committee, and they are coming forward with recommendation. They are the remaining licensed premise renewal applications, and they've met all state statutes and past inspections, and we would appreciate approval.
Unless there's any comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion on this one as well.
So move, Kavieski.
Second.
We'll do roll call on this one too with the alcohol licenses.
Sure. Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Item 8A2, consider act on resolution 26R3379, granting new 2026-2027 Class B intoxicating liquor fermented malt beverage license to Perseverance Corp., the Badger Burger Co. Gina?
Sure, so this is a regular, an application for a regular license that was previously held. This is just a new applicant, Perseverance Corporation with Mark Weiss, the agent, who was present at our meeting earlier this evening, but I don't think he stayed. The committee is bringing this forward for approval. His application meets all requirements and past inspections.
This is essentially a transfer of a license to a new owner at the same facility, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Any questions?
Just a question on
Alderman
that. I mean,
Shellpepper.
it's technically not a transfer, right? They're still applying for a new
But it's in the same
license. It
location,
goes
right.
back in the pot, we're given a new one. We're-
Right,
I mean,
that's
but
fair.
it's, okay, just wanted to understand.
that's
That
a
is
fair
correct. 'cause
Okay,
it-
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this one? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on this one as well.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, next item, 8B1, consider act on resolution 26R3380 for the approval of 2025 Wisconsin DNR CMAR. Tim?
Yeah, the compliance maintenance annual report serves as a report card.
I knew that's what that stood for, by the way.
Good. Yeah, I'll give you some more.
Okay, all right.
So in that report card, it's certainly not only for Oconomowoc, but for all communities in the state that have wastewater utilities that go through the same process. The goal is to evaluate, and down below there's some summary areas, how the utility is being operated, certainly. Is maintenance being accomplished properly at the utility? Does the utility have sound financing? We look at that aspect as part of this too. Is staffing complete? Are staff members continuing their education credits? And certainly ultimately, are we maintaining compliance for a regulatory permit with the DNR at the utility? So that's one of the primary goals, but also this report serves to promote communication between operational staff and governing bodies in each community. So it's quite a lengthy report. We touch on a lot more than what I'm touching on here, but everyone's seen that report. I encourage if anyone has any comments or questions with notations in the report or comments, I'm certainly welcome to answer any of those questions. I think the telling thing is with the, as I noted in committee, with the age of the plant that we have and the scores that we have, serves as a good indicator of the staff pride and the work that goes on at the utility. So I certainly appreciate that. I want to note that for the staff that we have in place. So ultimately here we're looking for an approval of the resolution for our compliance with the state here tonight. But again, if there's any questions, more than happy to answer those.
I'll just note on the last page of the report, it's a 4.0, so perfect grade.
Yep, yep, and that's been the standard here.
Someday 3.99 or something, right?
Yeah,
3.98.
we'll throw in a flyer.
Okay, all right. Any questions for Tim? Spiegelberg?
Were grades the same last year? I don't remember. A and 4.0?
They were,
Oh,
yep,
okay,
yep.
okay.
And the Oconomowoc has a history, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I just want to tell you, that whole study, it was very amazing and impressive, but it was Greek to me, but thank you for your hard work. It
Yep.
was very impressive.
Yep, you're welcome, thank you.
Kavieski.
This report is available on the website under utilities. Is it gonna be there?
We can put it there, Lou, yes.
I think making it easily available for our community to see, quite often you get community members that are like, hey, where is that? And you're like, hey, it's on the website. Try it, good luck.
Yep.
So if you can put it into a kind of an easy-to-find location, that'd be great.
Yep, we can
should
put
be
that
proud
on
of
our
it.
wastewater utility page, not a problem.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We'll do roll call on this one as well.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, now we're on to planning commission items. And just for the record, the plan is, unless there's an objection from council, to do item 9A through I altogether. It's all for the same project that was presented by Jason. It's the way we did it in planning commission. Council said we can take these all together unless somebody wants to pull them out and discuss, a zoning thing separately or CUP separately. Just one sec. And then Joe is still here. And if we have questions, we can talk to Jason. The last thing I would suggest is if we are in favor of the project, a portion of this, we would have to waive a second reading on the ordinances if we wanted to move ahead. So, Alderman Altman Cloth.
I guess my only concern, and I mean, as of right now, I have no objection to waiving the first reading, but should we do A through F, or no?
Aye.
No. Yeah, A through F by itself, and then G through I separate? Like, keep the ones with the first reading together and the ones without the first reading separate?
Well, I think what would be, you could do that too if you'd like. My recommendation would be for any ordinance within the packet that requires a second reading, we're waiving it as part of the motion. I think you can make it that motion that way, and I think that would be adequate. You could just add that language, I think you'd be fine. But again, you guys can pull them out separately, and then we'll take them together. So if anyone has questions generally about the entire project, let's rock and roll. Jason, is Jason still here too? Hi, Jason. You may need to come up too. So we'll just rock and roll. Shellpepper, I saw your hand first.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing we should address is just the safety, the traffic, and the infrastructure part. Can we talk about, do you feel like there was a traffic study that was necessary to be done? Did there need to be done? What about the parking on the street? Does the CUP address, any of the issues that were raised? Can you speak to those?
The CUP does address boat parking on the street, which is prohibited. It's not
Okay.
allowed on all three areas. Regarding the number of parking, first, the boat storage, it's gonna not have a lot of activity there, coming once in the fall and then once in the spring, I would think. So right now, you always see trucks parked out there. And the remaining sales and service, they go out and get the boats at various places and bring them back. Once in a while, people can drop a boat off, but I think, I don't think there's gonna be more traffic than the industrial uses. Industrial and commercial, they're pretty similar. So a traffic study was not completed. I don't think one's needed for this. It's a reuse of an existing building. I think it's fine. Traffic was not even an issue with the plan commission. It just seems like it's a good reuse of these buildings.
I think the delivery schedule or plan is part of the CUP of vehicles. Can you talk about when those are gonna happen?
Can we ask Joe to come
Joe?
up?
Hey, so yeah, just to talk on sort of the schedule or kind of how we see the property kind of flowing with drop-offs and stuff. So like Jason mentioned, most of the stuff that we're doing in Lake Country, we're picking up from the boat owner's house or wherever. We'll schedule that in advance and we'll pick that up so we control all the timing. And one of the things that made the property so attractive to us was how efficient we can make it. So we don't foresee, any street parking of boats, certainly not overnight. Right here, there is an existing, or, the former property owner did have some, it was their, they have 6 loading dock doors here. So they had some truck waiting area here right on the side of Park Street. I could foresee possibly for an hour or two, 1 or 2 trailer boats waiting there, but how we envision this is when we're scheduling, whether it's a customer drop-off or whether it's a boat that we're picking up from a customer, we're coming in, we're turning down Park Street, and then the beauty is that we can turn left here and loop around and pull straight into one of the service buildings. There'll be 4 bays, and this upper part is 60 feet, so we can pull the truck and trailer with the boat on it directly into that service bay if we're doing some sort of service, an oil change or a winterization, and then when that's done, we can simply pull it straight across, right into storage, and we don't have to have anything outside. And that's one of the things that we struggle with now in Pewaukee is that we do have to stage stuff outside, which customers don't like. We don't like doing it because of weather and other things like that. So that was a huge part of why we really liked this property and why it works so well, because it allows us to be more efficient. It allows us to keep everything inside. But again, we control the schedule, whether it is a drop-off or whether it is a pickup by us. And again, we see it working very similar to how the former operator had it. In their case, it was the semi-trucks and trailers. In our case, it's smaller boats on trailers. But again, pulling down Park Street and having the ability to time and schedule everything so that, up to 4 boats at a time can pull right in here. And then whether it's being unhooked by the customer or whether we're leaving it hooked up, doing our service, and then pulling straight inside the building.
Is that going to be part of the delivery plan then that you submit to the city that will be?
Yeah, kind of the procedure of a
Yeah,
of a pickup or
exactly.
drop-off. Yeah, it absolutely can be, yeah.
I think that, yeah, because I think it sounded like a lot of the concern was around the southern portion of Park, right there.
Down
where
here
there's-
on the corner and
there's no-
stuff?
South of that, so.
Oh,
you go
down here.
to where all these neighborhoods are, where the
Yes.
houses are, where there's no sidewalk.
Sure, yep.
So minimizing,
Yes.
actually just, not using that at
No,
all.
yeah, I would, because again.
Would be the
yeah.
preferable route.
Yep, yeah, and it'll almost all be just like this, Second Street straight up, north, I guess, into the property, if you will, and then having curb cuts right here off of Second Street and right here.
Right.
There is one down here, but again, we intend to fence this entire thing in, and this is gonna be our primary entryway for boats that are just simply coming in and being set down for storage, so.
Great, yeah, I mean, if we can put that as part of the delivery plan, I think
Sure.
that would be excellent and alleviate a lot of concern.
Yeah.
Off the bat, and the no parking, or parking of vehicles on Second Street, et cetera, is
Yeah.
part of the CUP, so I don't see that being a problem, we've got that addressed too, so.
Sure.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
You've done a really great job of, giving a comprehensive overview of what the parking, hauling, and delivery will look like. I saw you speaking with Melissa before. Were you able to address her concerns and sort of mitigate some of that and assure her of some of these same things?
Yeah, I believe so, and we kind of discussed what we just kind of talked about. And the other thing that we kind of talked about with regard to the safety is that, we're not moving here from a farm field where we're by ourselves. We're not moving here from an industrial park. Our existing setup in Pewaukee is very similar. There's a busier street, Capitol Drive, and then Sussex comes off of that. And there are neighborhoods throughout there, and we have plenty of residential neighbors on Sussex Street. So all of our drivers who are just in pickup trucks, we're not dealing with semis or anything massive. And most of the boats, the biggest boat that we really deal with in Lake Country is 25 feet. The bulk of it is 19 to 22 or 23 feet. So again, smaller than the semi-trailers. But again, they're already used to having residential neighbors, having residential foot traffic. We don't have sidewalks on Sussex Street right now. So we're very used to having families, younger people, whoever, walking and biking up and down Sussex Street and us navigating in and out of there safely. So we discussed that as well. So I think that's something important to note. That again, we're kind of moving from that setup to a very similar setup here with the residential stuff surrounding the facility.
Alderman Cloth.
I have 3 questions. One
Yeah.
of them might be more for Jason Gallo, but, and I did notice also that you had spoke with, was it Melissa?
Yeah.
Military mom?
Yep.
Have you had a chance to kind of maybe connect a little bit with Karen as well and her concerns about the upkeep
Yep, so thank you for bringing that to our attention, and I completely agree with you. I did a drive-by before coming here tonight, and I would be sitting here saying the same thing, because it is terrible right now.
Right.
And I will have that taken care of and addressed very soon before everything gets going, but. Yeah.
Well, just hold on a I may call you back up if you have something, but let's get through the questions with
Yep,
Joe here
just to
first,
close,
and then we'll
to
come
close
back
the
to you
loop
guys.
on that, yeah, so, because she had mentioned the existing weeds, and then how do we maintain that going forward? How do we, you know, I'll just say that, you know, we're not like, think of it like any other business. We want it to be presentable. We're not a car dealership where we're selling things that people have to have. We're a boat dealership. We're selling boats and taking care of boats. It's a passionate, emotional thing that, to be perfectly honest, doesn't really make financial sense to buy or own a boat. So we have to create an environment where people want to come and they want to spend time, and to inspire that. And part of that is the landscaping, maintaining the property, creating a property that, again, invites people in, is cohesive, and so on and so forth. So the landscape in the future is of top of mind because aesthetics are important. Just because, again, we're not selling something that people have to have, so we can't sit here with an overgrown, dilapidated property, so, yeah.
Well, and I
that-
appreciate that, because Karen unfortunately was not wrong. That is kind of a eyesore of our city, minus the fire department. The fire department's beautiful. I only say that because he's here. Two more. The second one, when Melissa was speaking about the safety with the kids and the traffic and the boats, and I was trying to kind of visualize, like, what will this look like on a day-to-day? And maybe this is more of a question for Jason Gallo. And I don't own a boat, so just throwing that
Nowhere to
out there.
come when you change your mind.
Okay. How much different is your operation than like Tinus Marine?
So if Jason wants to speak too, but it's very similar. In Lake Country, we're all kind of selling some very similar products, competing brands. The style of boats are very similar, so it's a lot of pontoons and tritoons and deck boats on trailers. So I personally, as a competitor, I think we're very similar.
Okay. And the reason why I ask is I was just trying to get an idea. I was kind of putting on like the mom hat that Melissa, you know, and trying to think of, I live not very far from Tinus Marine, and I walk and run around that area quite a bit, and so did my kids. So I was trying to just kind of visualize, like, how much has Tinus, you know, and Kevin's and we're in the same district together, how much has Tinus impacted our district? And my only complaint with Tinus Marine is when they're at Hares Mobile gassing up, and they have, you know, they're taking a whole, you know, they're taking 2 pumps up because of how big their equipment is, which isn't a horrible thing. And I appreciate that they shop local, because anyone that, you know, goes to Hares clearly knows the right gas station to go to. So I guess I just kind of wanted to say that to you, Melissa, that, you know, maybe drive around Tinus, kind of watch what their operation is like. It really, I don't feel it's impacted, and we've never had complaints.
Never a complaint.
I think, based on my research, the difference between Centerpoint and Tinus is going to be a big difference. I think Centerpoint's going to have a much cleaner operation. Tinus, they store a lot of boats. Sometimes in the fall, they end up on the street parking. They don't have a conditional use. They don't have restrictions saying you can't park there, and sometimes it gets very tight in there. At certain times, I think they have much more room here. That building is much larger than anything Tinus has. This is going to be much more, get them there, get them enclosed, get them off the street. So Tinus, I think this is going to be a safer operation for maneuvering, jockeying boats around. Tinus is sometimes, you know, gets a little dicey being on the road, on the streets. This will be a lot different.
Okay, good. And then I guess my final question was, Melissa had referenced a past safety incident. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, that was a tragic accident that occurred at our Milwaukee location about a few weeks back. Without getting into details, these are multiple locations of the same business, but the type and the operation of the business and the type of boats that we're dealing with in Lake Country that we're currently dealing with now in Pewaukee, or like Tinus deals with, or anybody else here, is on a much smaller scale, uses different equipment. So the incident that was referenced would not be possible of happening out here, because everything we're dealing with are on trailers on the ground, so.
Thank you.
Alderman Kavieski.
I have a few items. Number one, the event space. I did talk to Bill Sheehan, who said he's going to be in charge of operations out here.
Yep, he's, yep.
Bill is familiar with Oconomowoc and our community, so that was good to hear. I did have some exchange with him. He said he wasn't sure to what extent that event space was going to be utilized, if at all. Can you add anything to that? Because that would be a larger influx. So one of the things that Titus does, and I think some other boat dealers do, is create their own boat show.
Yep.
So is that something in the vision, and if so, how does it operate?
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a great question. And I guess, so I put event space on here and like things like overflow parking down here in my editing, just because it was one of those things that somebody threw out. We are a boat dealership, we're a boat business, we're not an events business. We have no immediate plans for anything like that. And again, one of the positives and draws to this property was that there is so much space for us to be able to grow into. But even just right now, having, almost 13,000 square feet in our showroom, we can do sort of our own in-house boat show just in that spot, because that's more than twice the space that we have now. So down the road in the future, maybe we do something like that. But again, our focus is the boat storage, which is the bulk of this property. And then, of course, the service and the sales piece are important as well. But again, we kind of threw that on there as a placeholder. We don't have any immediate plans. We haven't talked to anybody about doing that. So that's kind of all I got right now.
I would appreciate that if that became part of a discussion, that you consider the neighbors in the area, that you provide some kind of notice that was going to be happening, so you could prepare accordingly.
Yeah.
The service area, it abuts residential property to the west.
Yes.
Is there fencing going to be applied to the west and to the south there?
Yep.
It hasn't been addressed yet.
Sure. So right now, there's just some landscape screening, if you will. Some of the trees are dead and stuff. I think they're the neighbors. But either way, we plan to kind of screen it and match what we're going to do around here, which, thank you for calling that a rendering, Jason. That was kind of a shoddy crop job that I did. But we'll do kind of match what we do on this. So a combination of some fencing and landscaping to make sure that there is no visual nuisance or anything for the neighbor behind there.
Yeah, I think that'll be important, because as you pull in, as you
make the loop, and
there's going to be headlights going to be going that way. So taking care of that is important. You'll have, I would imagine, post lights around that area with LEDs facing downward. Can you talk about that in the plans and any potential light bleed?
Sure. So any of the lighting and stuff is obviously not finalized right now, and we'd want to follow any of the guidelines or codes, of course. And I'm not quite sure if we really would have any post lighting, building lighting by entryways and overhead doors, of course, and down lighting. But yeah, again, we don't have any specific lighting plan at this stage per se, and certainly nothing's been finalized. But again, we don't want to be an eyesore. We don't want it to look like Lambeau Field in the middle of this neighborhood. So again, soft down lighting where necessary, and just to the extent to make it safe and accessible for customers or ourselves, employees moving in and out of the property. So
no discussion about that as of right now, and no discussion or request for street lighting on 2nd Street?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Right now, 2nd Street is a primary drive route used for trucks and things of that nature. When I did talk to Bill, there'll be a couple times, maybe a year, that you'll get larger bulk deliveries.
Sure.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so how we get boats from the factories, they occasionally will show up on their own trailer, because all these boats are trailerable boats, but oftentimes they will come on a 3 or 4 boat load from the factory, and as Bill said, periodically throughout the year. So when that happens, then it would probably be very similar to what the former person was doing, because it's a semi pulling a lowboy trailer with 3 or 4 pontoons on it, and they'll kind of do the same thing that they would do, is they'll pull over and then we'll unload them right back here off the street, or right inside the building. We haven't determined exactly where, but it'll all happen right in the back, off the street, and kind of away from any of the residential stuff. So we're not doing any lifting on the street, we're not doing any unloading on the street, or anything like that. So does that kind of answer?
It does. Overall, I've had several interactions with residents in the area. I live like 2 blocks over on Locust
Cool.
Street. I think it's a great use of the space. I think there's been a reduction of overall traffic with the storage facility there. So, overall, I think I have 4 kids. If you have kids,
Yep.
that is definitely something to consider. And I don't think this provides any additional concern over what's going on. It'll definitely improve the visibility and aesthetic of that area. So I appreciate the investment into the community and to the area. It's in need of that. And I feel confident and comfortable with the management and the ownership that if there was any issues, that you can go and get it addressed based on what I've experienced with Bill while there was operations here that he was involved in.
Yeah.
It was a completely different operation and ownership.
Right.
But the style of management
Yeah.
was very open and very.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to be coming to Oconomowoc, and we're a small family business based in Wisconsin with a couple different locations, Milwaukee and Door County. And we're hoping to be here for the long term. So we don't want to come in here and make enemies and have neighbors be upset. So yeah, if there's ever any concerns, please knock on the door or call us. And we like to think we're pretty reasonable, so
Lastly, my condolences.
thank you.
Just a real quick comment for me on Planning Commission. Kevin and I are Planning Commission. We asked a lot of these very similar questions. One thing we did focus on for your folks there, Karen and Melissa, is the fixing up of that parking lot across the street and the fencing on all sides and landscaping too. So we're clear there's going to be plantings along it. It will be significantly improved from the current look, and we were concerned about that as well as the street, no street parking with boats. So
Exactly.
again, unless there's more questions, I believe we can, do you have? some?
Sorry, just one
Yeah,
real
go
quick
ahead.
one.
No,
Does
no,
the-
that's fine.
Is there any sort of temporary CUP that would need to be, Jason, used for the event space, or any other sort of additional requirements put on that in terms of time or patron usage? I mean, if there was an event to be held there, would the parking have to be contained within those 40 parking stalls, that sort of thing? Is that all being contemplated in the existing CUP?
No, it really wasn't. Its future event space is shown on the plan, but, if they would lease that out to someone for an event, like let's say a wedding or something, that's different than the business, that's different. They would need to come back and talk about that and get permission.
Yep.
We did not give them permission to do stuff other than boat storage, service, and storage in this CUP.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Oh,
I believe there's one from the audience. I don't know if you want to entertain it or not.
I think you guys are good. You guys are good?
You
Why
wanna
don't
go
you
to the,
come up?
Okay, so I know I'm interrupting. Do you need my name again and address?
Sure.
Okay, Karen Miller, 621 West Highland Avenue. Just listening to the traffic, it made me think, if you're familiar with the area, it's, how Concord and Park Street come to a V? That's a really dangerous intersection, because if you're coming from the south on Concord and you're turning right, that's fine. You just go, there's no stop sign. And the people that are coming from the north on Concord, they pretty much assume everybody's turning right, and they don't realize that a lot of people aren't turning right, and they're going straight through to Park Street. And I can tell you, there's a lot of, I can hear horns blaring, so it's a really dangerous spot. So I'm just kind of giving like your drivers a heads up. It's a tricky corner because some people coming from the south don't have to. So if they take that route, just warn them that a lot of people assume you're not going to the left. And if you were going on Park Street, you would be using that street often. But it sounds like maybe you're not, and you're gonna go on Concord, but it's just a kind of a heads up, because it's a dangerous corner.
Oh, okay.
So,
We got you. Gotcha. Thanks. So we can take this, like I suggested, I think items A through I together with a motion to waive any second readings within it, or if you want to split them off, you can do A through F, waiving the second readings, and then G through I. Whatever you guys would like to do, I'll entertain a motion as council sees appropriate.
I'd like to make a motion to do A through I and waiving the second readings.
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, well, I guess any other additional discussion on that motion? You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Okay, all right. Robust debate, thank you. Go ahead and do roll call, Gina.
Sure, thank you. Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shellpepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kobieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, we've been going for a while. We've still got a lot of big things to take up. I'd like to do a 5-minute break. I'd like us to just recess for 5 minutes, come back at 9:15 on the button, and then we'll take up the last several items. And then folks can leave if you need to leave. Joe, you can go. God, where are we here? 9J, consider act on ordinance 26-01131 to amend the Economowoc Comp Plan 2050 to change the land use on 21.3 acres from commercial and office to 10.5 acres of medium-density residential and 10.8 acres of high-density residential at Valley Road and Paps Farms Circle. This is a first reading, and I think we'll have the applicant come up, or Jason, did you want to chat a little? Yeah, you do a little bit more intro on this one?
I've already given the presentation. I just wanted to say the Plan Commission did recommend, and they took the motions. The next three items are all related. We're amending the comprehensive plan from commercial, and we heard a lot of public comments saying they're in favor of that, to a residential district. We have evidence that the commercial is a better use for this particular site. Then we would rezone it to match the residential requests. And then finally, a PD amendment. We heard a lot about that path earlier, but as you heard, the path is a separate issue. We're just asking for the path to go in that the Common Council approved as part of the public benefit for the PD 20 years ago in 2006. So that's a separate issue. This is, what you're asking is to lock in a general development plan that would show a commercial use for Lot 1, a commercial use for Lots 4 and 5, and then Lot 2 would be the memory care facility, and then Lot 3 would be this single-family home subdivision with shared walls. And I know the applicants are here if you'd like to hear any comments from them, or I'll be available to answer any questions.
Yeah, I guess what we'll do is I'll ask the applicants from Opiden and Paps Farms if you guys have anything. Newman's here too. If you guys have any comments or anything you want to talk about, or if you just want to answer questions as need be. Just answer questions. You guys are here to answer questions. Okay, okay. Alderman Youngworth.
Are we
Yeah.
ready for that part? Okay.
Yeah, we're ready to rock. I mean, we did the public hearing. We've heard Jason, and then you guys can ask any questions. Again, Newman's here, Paps Farms here, Opiden, who's going to be the operator and the owner of the memory care facility and the independent living is here. So.
For me, I would just say commentary, right? I've been in this role now 14 months. I've learned a lot. Brian, through the harvest and through some other things, we've had an opportunity to work with Brian. And there was, pushback on some of that as far as number of rentals versus, single-family homes, those kind of things. And to the credit of Brian and team, they came back multiple times, right, and added more. It was, we heard you, and so here's another revision of this. The commercial, in my opinion, the commercial zoning hasn't worked. I read a lot of the reports on reasons why. So I personally, at this point in time, would back changing the zoning here. And again, so I love this, the single-family homes, at least in this version right here. I love seeing that. The senior living, to me, takes away some of the arguments that could be made or maybe have been made on high-density apartment buildings. I'm just going to call it that. Right? It's a different environment, and so for that reason as well, I can back this. As Alderman Shellpepper, I think, brought up, we always want to get input from, fire and police chief, right? Are we, from a safety perspective, right? You look at this and you wonder, is it, from a, something happens back there. Do you feel comfortable? And I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying I'd like to maybe hear a little bit on their comfort level of that. But outside of that, with the zoning, I think it's, I'm fully support of this and moving forward with what ultimately the final design looks like. I just wanted to make that comment.
You want me to recognize Chief Bowen, just comment on that? I think there was a question kind of just about the safety of the whole project and, kind of the location and access maybe.
Yeah, well, we've weighed in on other mixed-use developments, and I don't see any problems with the road layout or configurations. We've now got a signal down there by the Fleet Farm entrance there, so that's going to be a signaled intersection. And then Pep's Farm Circle there, I don't see any traffic issues there from our perspective. As far as when it gets into the flow within the complex of our apparatus, those are details that get worked out with our staff as we move to staff. So we'll be very involved throughout this process to ensure our movement throughout there.
Thank you.
Alderman Kavieski.
This is in regards to the independent living. From a public safety standpoint, we have several independent living, senior living facilities. Our call volume associated with those types of facilities for help assists tend to be higher than typical residential. What kind of operation will you provide? Equipment will be on site to help mitigate some of those call volumes and costs to the taxpayer, because those services that are provided with those higher volumes are not compensated at the same rate because it's Medicare, Medicaid, or so they're loss services, not break even.
Shannon or Eric, why don't you guys come up, whoever, or both of you, and then see if you can answer that question. And I think the question is about your kind of care package there and what you're gonna, and we've talked about some of this with you guys, with staff, about the Hoyer lifts and some of that. So feel free to answer that question and talk about your process a little bit there.
Okay, great. My name is Shannon Rusk, and Eric Martin, we're partners here at Oppidan. Good question, and we are unique in that we're, I think, to kind of answer something, we're a for-profit organization, which I think is different than many of the organizations, communities that you have here in town. We are also uniquely, we have Hoyer lifts on site, and we have staff that are trained to use those. Not saying that there won't be calls, you know, there'll be the incidents where we need to make a call for something, you know, significant, but our purpose of serving our seniors is to keep them safe. We have RNs and a very trained staff in place 24/7, so that we can, you know, what we usually say in the communities that we enter is we're lessening the load on the single-family residents, the seniors that live in single-family homes. If something were to happen, you're certainly going to call 911, and you should. What we do is try to mitigate that, step in front of it, and certainly make the call when the incident is, you know, beyond where we should go. So we have, you know, our communities do very well within, and not saying that we don't have, we're going to have some sort of impact, but it's typically much lesser than if our residents were living in their single-family homes.
Can you explain what a Hoyer lift is and why that's a benefit to your facility and to the community?
Yeah, well, can I explain what a Hoyer lift is? It's a device to, many communities, operating companies actually don't allow their employees, if a resident is to fall, it's dead weight, and they don't want the employees to get harmed, and probably more importantly, they don't want them to be moving somebody that might have a broken bone or something serious going on and cause further damage, and there's risk. So a Hoyer lift is, it's a device, it's a piece of equipment where you can stabilize the senior and lift them up. Basically, it's almost like a crane on a truck, but it's not that crude, so.
It'd be something like that you see at the YMCA to help
Yes.
assist into a hot
Into
tub or
pools and
to
stuff
pool.
like that, yeah.
Yep.
It's a very expensive piece of equipment. We have it every one of our communities. That's a requirement for us.
Any other questions for Shannon or Eric on, yeah, go ahead.
So, just kind of paying attention to some of the comments on social media and things of that nature, not necessarily associated with your facility, so this is not for you if you wanted to take a seat. I'm not gonna ask any direct questions for you. But the rezoning, every time we do a rezone and every time we do that, then we revise the comprehensive plan, and it's a process, and I understand in our conversations, you know, it's kind of a pain for you as well. I think the community wants to see something that we don't have to keep coming back and going through this process, so I am in support of this. I think the use of this is appropriate, and I think there's still some areas that we can take a look at, get ahead of a little bit, and address comprehensively, so we're not piecemealing these in there. One of the things is the backbone infrastructure associated with finalizing a lot of this area. all plays into what our community would like to see. I know there's a fatigue associated with the growth. We're getting toward the end of the growth, and we should be able to work with planning to come up with those kind of elements to show the community we're listening and to do our job. Is that
go ahead.
fair?
Those are excellent points, Alderman Kowalski. That's one of the benefits with this application before us. This is, you know, you're looking at it as one parcel, but it's a master plan. We have a developer here that brought in, I'll say it now, finally, Newman Company. I've been keeping that very quiet. An operator of the senior living campus, and he's got operators for the remaining, you know, at least 2 out of the 3 general commercial sites. So this, you know, I think I heard you say the word piecemeal and changing the master plan. This is a new master plan for this area. This is over 20 acres of land in the Paps Farms that we have operators ready to go. They're right here, you know. So I think sometimes the council might not realize that. You say, oh, another change in the plan, but this is a significant area, and we think we're very supportive of this. One thing that I wanted to address Alderman Youngworth's comments, this is not the last that you're going to see of this. The memory care, senior living, they require a conditional use permit. So this is just kind of step one, getting the land use zoned for it. They'll have to come back. And if there was questions about truck turning radiuses and internally for fire trucks, we haven't seen any of that yet. This is called the GDP, the General Development Plan. They'll come back, and for the residential portion, they'll have to come back with a subdivision plat, and we'll have to look at it at that point, and there'll be possibly a developer's agreements, depending if there's public improvement. So there's going to be a certified survey map to create this. This is not the last that you're going to see of this project. It's got to go to the Architectural Commission, so we'll get, you know, drawings of what the buildings are going to look like. But this is just step one of it, but be happy to answer any additional questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
We haven't talked about Lot 1 much, but there's some parking with a large square on there. Is that intended use been identified?
Come on
Do you
up.
know if intended
Come on
use-
up, Mr. Bell.
Great question, Alderman Kowalski. Lot 1 is identified. We are under contract with a daycare user. So the beauty of this that Jason was talking on is I get the concerns with changing the comp plan, but my intentions with this is really to, you know, identify 4 out of the 5 users. You know, Lot 4, just to further talk on it, I envision that to be kind of a 6,000 square foot strip center, so much similar to the Dunkin' Donuts and BW3 location there from a sizing standpoint for you to understand. But all 4 users are you know, under contract to proceed forward. Obviously, the biggest starting block, particularly with Newman and Oppidan, was, you know, can this be rezoned for their uses? So.
Brian, while you're up there, I've had discussions with you and Oppidan about a couple of different things. Something you and I talked about, so the record's clear, tonight we're not talking about the village crossing path, but I know you've done a lot of efforts in that. We really appreciate that. What I talked to you about, though, is your path is going to go around this entire, you know, the Newman portion and the Oppidan portion. And one of the things I asked you is where that path is going to connect around this kind of dry water bed. Do you have an idea where that's going to connect? Because that's, yeah. Because ideally, I'd like that path to make sure somewhere up there along Valley Road connects to the sidewalk so that people can still use it even if the village crossing path doesn't go through.
Sure. So to just step back a little bit, in its current state, the sidewalk along Valley Road stops right at the regional stormwater facility and then picks back up at Paps Farm Circle. So in its current condition, we have this designed by R.A. Smith, permitted with, this actually goes to the county since Valley Road is a county road. That is scheduled to be put in by the end of the month. So that portion will be completed, and now you have a true connection point along Valley Road. The walking trail that I had designed by R.A. Smith, we've done initial topo and survey work for the entirety of the path. So in its original condition, you actually had a cross point coming right across here.
Yeah.
If you ever walk in that area and look at that field, it is actually a dry bed overflow for the wet pond right here. So not an ideal condition, particularly on high, rain seasons. So our election was to actually have the path exit up to Valley Road, continue to the west, and likely there's an existing large swale here. I had original designs for it to simply go along that public sidewalk to Pabst Farm Circle and then in. I don't think that actually is the best route for intentionality of trying to create kind of a circular path for it. So I would propose some type of culvert bridge across that swale to make the connection point back from Valley Road, back onto the Oppidan site, and then continue south.
Would it be easier to cross over the top of that, a dry bed and then connect up there somewhere then you don't have to go over that swale? Or is it still a swale in there?
This would still be an open swale. So the consideration, I got away from that, just given my concerns of just overflow in this area.
Not through the middle, through the top, like connect that path over the top somewhere, connected into the sidewalk up there.
It's a pretty significant grade change as you get off the sidewalk of Valley Road down into that. I certainly could challenge R.A. Smith to consider it. I think in its current case, they kind of jog it over at an angle, and the true exit point is kind of closer to here.
Okay,
So,
that's fair. I mean, I think it's as long as there's a connection to the sidewalk up there so that people from different areas, I mean, the goal of the paths everywhere, including our original plan in 2006 for Village Crossings, was for that interconnectivity amongst the community.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Luke Kavieski.
On that point, sidewalks on Valley Road has been an issue for years, so I'm glad that you brought up that you're gonna provide sidewalk in those locations. And that would be an important thing to keep an eye on and to complete as we move forward with future development.
Yeah, I think the intentionality of it, to speak for the name misslip by the mayor, was Peter's intention was to kind of figure out what the users would be in the area. I don't think we were trying to absolve ourselves from it, but through, I'd say, some good arm wrestling from other staff members, we wanted to commit to getting that done, and we're in position to now today. So happy to see it go in.
Any other questions for Brian? I just want to go through one thing with Oppidan before we go. You guys, we've had some discussions with your company about a separate agreement that we're going to incorporate into the developers agreement. I don't know who wants to speak to that. I just would love someone to come up to the podium to chat about that real quick. You guys flew all the way down from Minneapolis, right? You might as well get some action here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So what we've also talked with Oppidan about, and that will be incorporated into the developers agreement, and we received a letter, I think, what was that today? We finalized the terms today. Should their EMS calls ever exceed their city tax bill portion of their taxes, they're paying full taxes. So to CTC, the county, the school district, and the city, should your tax bill, the amount of EMS service ever exceed your city portion of the tax bill, you guys will pay a per call addition at the end of the year when it's recalculated. Right now, that's pegged at $745 per call this year, not to exceed 15% in future years.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I think that's an incredible deal. We really appreciate that consideration from Oppidan. One of the biggest concerns we hear when these developments come in is, what is the impact going to be on EMS or other services? And you guys coming forward with that is incredible. And I think it should be a signal to other facilities here in the city that they need to help out where possible. And we appreciate what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. And we completely agree.
Yeah. And we think you guys are going to do a great job. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions with regard to this first portion? I'm guessing our discussions regarding kind of all three?
Yes.
Okay. So without seeing no further questions or discussions, I'll entertain a motion on item 10A. Now remember these, no, I'm sorry, 9J. These are all first readings.
Yes.
So if you want to waive the first readings, remember to ask to waive the first reading as part of that motion.
So moved, waiving the first reading.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Item 9K, consider act on ordinance 25-01126 to rezone 21.3 acres from general commercial to 10.5 acres of residential multi-unit low and 10.8 acres to residential multi-unit high at southeast corner of Valley Road and Pabst Farm Circle. Again, a first reading. If you would like to waive that, make sure that's part of the motion.
So moved, waiving the first reading.
Second, Young.
Any other discussion on that motion? He waived it.
No, but I think he said waiving the first reading.
Waive the second reading.
Waive the second reading, excuse me.
We got you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
I misspoke.
Yep.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
We'll do roll call, Gina.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
All right, item 9. God, we got a lot of items here. L. Consider act on ordinance 25-01127 to amend the Planned Development District PD-9-06 Village Square within Pabst Farms located at the southeast corner of Valley Road and Pabst Farms Circle. Again, this is a first reading. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, waiving the second reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, folks, thank you. You guys, you can leave if you'd like. If you want to stick around, that's totally up to you. But you are welcome to leave. Yeah, I figured. Thank you. Next item is 10B, consider act on resolution 26R3381 for the approval of interim Lake Country Municipal Court Judge. Are you speaking on this one, Mark?
I will, Mayor, thank you. So at the court, currently, we have a temporary judge filling in as Judge has resigned from the position. And the temporary judge can only serve so long, so the Operations Committee of Lake Country Municipal Court interviewed 4 individuals interested in becoming an interim judge. The interim judge would serve from when they're seated until the spring election. And then at the spring election, it would go out to the voters of in the member communities of the 22 owners or participants of the court. And the Operations Committee did their work. They sent a recommendation to the Administrative Committee where 19 of the 22 communities were present. All 19 voted in favor of Attorney Sonderhaus to interim judge until the spring election. So approving the resolution, all 22 communities have to approve the resolution before he can be seated. We're recommending that Attorney Sonderhaus become the interim judge for Lake Country Municipal Court.
And Chief Pfister sits on the Operation Committee for Lake Country Municipal, and Mark sits on the Administrative Committee for the court. Myself and Alderman Altman Cloth were there also to just kind of observe, and it was a decent debate and discussion. I'll entertain any questions, comments on that. Mr. Kavieski?
I did take the time to talk to Mr. Sonderhaus and had a great conversation with him. I did have a couple of residents reach out and just had some concerns that don't have any concerns at all with him. I think he will do a great job as our municipal judge. And he has indicated that he'd run again in April of next year, pending whatever. So his continuity of service would potentially be there. And I just want everybody to know that the municipal court will be in good hands, both from a judicial standpoint and from a financial standpoint. We talked about that aspect of Lake Country Municipal Court being relatively unique, and his ability to oversee that as well.
The one other point here is that it is an interim position, appointment, so that person's going to have to run in April, just like you, Mr. Kavieski.
Yep. If we so choose.
Yes, Mr. Ellis, and then to you.
Wanna
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I just wanted to be known for the record that I didn't like the way this whole thing went down. I thought it was backhanded. I felt as though the information that was given out in partial. I did not appreciate some of the things that have been said about Judge Kay. I'm not happy about this at all, and I want that for the record.
Thank you, Kevin. Alderman Altman-Cloth.
I think it would also just be fair, though, and this is not what I was going to say originally, that you did recuse yourself from some of the closed sessions in regards to that because of a personal relationship with him. Sadly, the evidence that was presented by the PD and the courts on Judge Kay was overwhelming, and ultimately the right decision was made. Like Mayor Rosick said, I did attend the meeting last week. Was that last week? Had a chance to meet Sonderhaus. Seems like a really great gentleman, comes with some really great recommendations. I have a lot of close business connections within the court system and the legal community. Talked to a couple current judges, retired judges, soon-to-be judges, and they all had just very positive things to say about him. So I do believe that you guys did a great job on who you picked, and I appreciate the process. I know it wasn't an easy one, and I look forward to soon-to-be Honorable Sonderhaus taking his seat.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the interim appointment.
So moved, Altman-Cloth.
Second.
Want to do roll call on this one?
Alderman Ellis.
Nay.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Altman-Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to item 10C, consider act on ordinance 26-01132 to create an impact fee for the fire facilities in the city of Oconomowoc. This is also a first reading, so we've heard a presentation from Chief Bowen. Chief Bowen is understandably still here. And we'll entertain any additional questions. His presentation was thorough. We also discussed the impact fee at the joint municipal meeting, which was, I think, 2 weeks ago, at length in, with everyone and all of our members and contractors. Was that last week? That was last week. God, man, days are flying by.
I believed you had 2 weeks.
Yeah, 1, 2. So this is also a first reading. If we move it and we like it, other communities already voted for this. I would encourage us to waive the second reading. But I'll take any other questions, comments. Alderman Shell Pepper.
Yeah, I appreciate this being brought forward. I think I brought up having an impact fee years ago, and at one point I think I wanted, no additional growth to happen until the impact fee was implemented. Obviously that, was probably inexperience speaking at that point, but it is the right thing to do because it ensures that the new growth, pays their fair share. I think if we had implemented something like this, 20 years ago or whatever, I mean, the fire station out at Pabst Farms probably would have been paid for, with the impact fee. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but, what's that? Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's why, so how was it paid for with this fire department impact fee if we didn't have it then?
Come on up.
Yeah, explain.
So the Pabst Farm Station, the city of Oconomowoc actually did a study back, I believe, Mark, it was 2003. We dusted off the cobwebs. And that's how the Pabst Farm Station was built, with impact fees and paid off with impact fees. But because it was paid off, we had to do another study, hence this study, to evaluate the future growth. So
That was just a city impact fee though at the time,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Got it. Can we use this impact fee for the administrative building, for the leadership building that we're talking about?
No, that was one of the deficiencies when they met with Mark and I, that our administrative, we said we would have to take that offline and we would commit to working through that challenge, but that was one of our deficiencies right off the get-go.
I mean, how is that
So
a
either way-
deficiency? How is it a deficiency that we don't have, you know, a leadership facility or?
Because our current fire stations, the square footage of those stations for the living quarters is literally all that's there. None of our fire stations were built to house the offices. Even if we rewind back to the old Oconomowoc Fire Station, Assistant Chief Lydell, Linda, his admin assist, they were working out of closets. So none of the stations, when they were built in the 1960s or 1980s or 1990s, had the vision, and that's why we've got the deficiency that we have of the administrative offices.
So every time that you're wanting to do a new facility, you need to do a new impact fee study to do that?
Correct, and the impact fee study, if they find deficiencies, you can't use impact fees to pay for the deficiencies that you already have. So we've got these deficiencies, it's been noted, it was, I think, even noted back in the 2003 one. That's why it only paid for a fire station, not a fire station with the office space necessary.
Okay,
Mark, am I on the same?
I appreciate the clarification there. I think it's important for the new growth to help pay for the new facilities. It makes sense to do it. And yeah, I appreciate us bringing it forward. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Nothing else at this time. So
Well, I
thank you.
did just one quick comment. With most of these, and maybe Steve will know the answer or Mark, most of the impact fee studies we do, there's always usually some level of deficiency. It's usually never 100%. There's 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever, when they do these studies, because they'll say that a percentage of your needs right now are for your current needs. Is that accurate? Correct. Accurate? Okay. So that's pretty typical. Alderman Kavieski.
With this impact fee study, the 15% deficiency and the 85% capture based on the lot sales isn't just within the city, correct? It's within a multi-jurisdictional region?
Yep, it's all 7 of the municipalities in Waukesha County that receive both fire and EMS services, and that's why the MOU includes all of the municipalities, as well as the study included all the municipalities, and that's why all the municipalities are taking this ordinance for discussion and action, so that even if Merton has 10 homes, they're gonna be paying those, or Dousman with their growth, or Summit with their growth. So everybody, that 85% is going into a pot. That's the impact fee pot. Doesn't matter where it came from, 85% of the station's cost will be paid for using impact fees. Once we pay for it, my understanding, having gone through impact fees from both Mark and Steve, is we'll redo another impact fee when that time comes, so that we stay fresh and continue to not fall behind.
Well, I would like to follow up with that, and I'm 100% in favor of this. It puts us in a much better position than we have been in the past in regards to CapEx and covering that. Not only this municipality, being the city of Oconomowoc, but all municipalities should then be aware that staffing associated with that facility will need to be budgeted for in anticipated fashion. So it's not a surprise when the impact fees materialize, we get the building built, and they're like, hey, I need 7 more people or 8 more people, whatever that may be, and everybody gets anxious about how that's getting paid. We need to accommodate for that in our budget approach.
And I can quick answer that question. I've been working with the fire board as part of the, I don't want to live through another big increase for our taxpayers, for myself, for the district. So as we do our budget process, both for the fire apparatus that would go in that station as well as the staffing, what we're trying to do is, as this new development occurs and the tax base is adjusted, that new development is going to pay for the additional staffing. So instead of adding 15 people to staff that station in 1 year, we're trying to add 1 or 2 people a year, so we feather that in. So over the next 10 years, we end up with the personnel needed to staff that station. So we're trying to feather that in through our standard budget process.
I appreciate getting that on record, because that is a continued voice within the community that some people don't think that it's being thought of. It may not have been thought of as much in the past, but it definitely is with where we are now and where we're headed in the future. And I appreciate that as a taxpayer and as a resident here that requires those services from time to time. And it, in the meeting a week ago, call times have gone down dramatically, service levels have gone up dramatically, and all of that is due to proactive positioning like this.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions, comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion, and remember, we can waive the second reading on this one.
I'll make the motion and waive the second reading.
Second, Kavieski.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Ellis. Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Cloth.
Aye.
Final item on new business 10D, consider act a memorandum of understanding regarding the fire facilities impact fees and cost sharing. This is a related item to item C. Any additional questions, concerns regarding that MOU? I'll entertain a motion on that. There's no readings.
Second.
Take roll call.
Alderman Ellis. Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Welch.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Youngworth.
Aye.
Alderman Frankowski.
Aye.
Alderman Cloth.
Aye.
Okay, item 11, staff reports. Any staff reports, Mark?
Just one, I sent out emails the last couple of weeks talking about whether or not we'd be holding a meeting on July 7th, and there's no negative comments back on that. We will move to not have a meeting on July 7th for the Common Council. And then also the meetings that are normally held right after on July 8th, the Architectural and Plan Commission, those meetings are gonna move to Monday, July 13th, in order to free up that week for anybody that wants to take the time off and enjoy the United States turning 250 years old. Probably something older than me.
I was gonna say, isn't that your birthday?
Yeah, yeah, it
I'm
is.
just,
Yeah.
You were there.
So that's all. I
You were thank you, Mark. Reports or comments from Alderman? Mr. Kavieski.
Shocking, I know.
3 minutes, less.
It is the last time we will be in front of the community as this body before July 4th, which is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the beginning of the greatest country and experiment of self-governance that this world has seen. There's a lot of division in this country, and if you can't find a way to support the place that you live and be proud of this country and everything that is done within the world stage, you might want to reevaluate where you live. It is an amazing grace to live here and to be called an American. So that's my comment.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, America.
Thank you, Kevin.
Anything else from Alderman? Seeing none, I have just a few very, very super quick. Really appreciate all the community engagement tonight on a couple of our big issues. Those folks had a lot to say, and we appreciate them coming out and expressing their opinions and their positions. Kudos to city staff. There was a lot of heavy lifting this week. The deal with Opidin and the path stuff. I also kudos to Zach and Eric for taking the time. I know you guys spend a lot of time with the folks out there. I think that's part of what self-governance is all about, is spending that time. And you guys, heavy lift this week. Thank you for working with your constituents. And I think we saw a through line tonight. This council's considering and really thinking about what some development does do to us. And the impact fee tonight brought forward by Western Lakes is huge. The deal that myself, Brad, and Mark cut with Opidin is a big deal. Getting these facilities to pay their fair share when they know they're using our facilities at an excessive rate or a higher rate than normal citizens is a big deal. And we should be proud of the work we did, everyone, this week. Thank you. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.